Buddy,
We're really in the spotlight.
we're really in the spotlight, yeah. Together with our awesome panel. Please take a seat. So we are the hosts of the Dutch Kubernetes podcast. I'm Ronald Kers, and this is the one and only
Hello, Ronald.
Jan Stomphorst. That's our gig in the podcast. So if you don't know it yet, please listen to it. It's a really awesome podcast, or as we say, a super tough podcast. I would like to introduce our awesome guests in the panel. That's William Rizzo. Welcome, William, or Mr. Rancher. I did it. I did it. Marcel Kerker from HCS. Welcome, Marcel. Thank you. And Andrea Giardini.
Nice.
Nice. I got my Italian accent straight. Welcome, guys. The first question that we have is more of a personal note, so the audience know who you are. So we know your life is all about Kubernetes. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. So, but can you tell the audience what do you do besides Kubernetes? What are your hobbies or
Your hobbies.
That's like the worst question for nerds. Like, yeah, sure. Hello, everyone. I'm Andrea. For people who don't know me, as you were saying, professionally, a Kubernetes trainer, Kubernetes consultant, event organizers at time. In my free time, what do I like to do in my free time? I like to do scuba divings. I'm a scuba diver. Been scuba diving since like 15 years now, something like this.
Nice.
So it's one of the passion of mine. I always try to combine holidays with scuba diving. We used to do free diving as well. So yeah, everything involved with water. It's
okay,
my thing.
Cool.
Thank you. My name is Marcel Kerker. I'm a consultant at HCS company. My hobbies, yes, it's a lot. Have you time? No, I'm a lot of sporting. I do boxing. I'm doing mountain biking and some soccer. If I do not sport, I do something with Leco or I do home automation with Kubernetes.
Ah, of course.
Awesome.
Of course.
With Kubernetes.
Yes, indeed. So that's is short for me.
Thank you. I had to think a bit if there was a life beyond Kubernetes. William Rizzo. I am in the Netherlands since 13 years. I'm Italian. I know you hear the accent. Thanks for not mentioning it. Beside Kubernetes, beside all of this, I do motorbiking. I have four motorbikes and I'm planning the fifth. I love to play with my kids. I do traditional Japanese martial arts and programming. Yes, I do it as a hobby.
It's also a martial art.
They know that as Kung Fu.
That's Chinese.
Okay. Andrea, what was the thing that got you motivated to start with Kubernetes?
That's actually a very good question. I was trying to think about, the first time I started playing with Kubernetes, then I installed my first cluster. I think it was 2017, something like that. Managed Kubernetes service on AWS at the time was not a thing, so I created a lot of clusters and broke many of them as well. And this was the fun part, in the beginning, you're like you don't know anything, right? So you're getting started, you break stuff, you rebuild things, you break stuff, you rebuild things. And it was just at the time, really a technology that was upcoming. More and more people started talking about it. And I was like, you know what? Let's take this small project that we have in the company was working at the time, and let's try to build it with Kubernetes. And let's see where do we get. Let's see if it brings an advantage or not. And yeah, the rest is history.
Great. Marcel,
Yes.
now we're here at the great KCD Utrecht. How did you get involved with an organization, with the organization of this great event?
Well, I was also organizing a lot of meetups. I'm doing, I think, about 10 years organizing meetups, and I want something to learn to organize a big event, so a day event. So therefore, I saw KCD, and therefore I want to learn about how to organize a great event like this. So I volunteer myself to the KCD, and this
The
my
rest is history.
yeah this second time. So that's the question.
Okay, nice. William, next one is for you. This is not the first time that you're organizing an event like this. We've met you at KCD Amsterdam. Can you share some stories with us or the audience? What keeps you coming back for more?
The stress. I must be absolutely honest. My drivers are two things for this type of events. The first one is my desire to engage with a community of people. With a community, when we talk about community, we always talk about open source community or events community. What I like to call community is people that think like me, people that understand what I'm talking about when I'm talking about technical things. And the second, maybe is more important, is the group of people that are organizing this event. It's amazing to just to stick around with them and to see how just they jump. We don't get any retribution for something like this. We are all volunteers, and we stick together. We are frustrated together. We are happy together. But then when we are frustrated again together, then we all try to leave. Then we all try to come back. And these are the two things.
Okay,
Cool.
nice. Andrea, what do you think are the best ways to connect with the community?
That's another very good question.
I know.
You always have good questions. It sounds like you're doing a podcast or something. I think it depends on what you want to do, right? I mean, I always consider that contributions, they have two big macro categories, right? Like
yes.
Contributions that are technical and non-technical. For example, I'm somebody that during my daily job, I do a lot of technical work, so I like to keep my contribution non-technical to change things around. And it's just about getting started. I mean, getting involved with the community closer to you. That's always the best place, to really see what's up, what is coming up in terms of events, in case you are into events. And if you are looking into something more technical, the CNCF Slack as well, or all kind of projects are involved in Kubernetes. Very often they have first issues that new contributors can take and participate in, and it's really about getting started. I know that the Kubernetes contributor pretty much got as confusing as the JavaScript ecosystem. Pretty much, it's a mess. So many projects that come and go, so many projects that grow, and so many projects that release new versions. But it's just about getting started and taking the first step in. Then once you've taken the first step, it's just the rest is history. No, I mean, once you've taken the first step, then you will get pulled into. You will get to know more people. You will get more members of the community, and from there, it's just a matter of time before you become actually a contributor.
Okay.
Is it also just do it? Just keep doing it?
It's about finding something that you're passionate about, that interests you. That's the first priority, I would say. Even before just jumping straight into things. Are you passionate about observability? Great. There is an interest group about observability. Go there and see what they're doing. Are you interested in, tracing? Are you interested in sustainability? Whatever that might be, there is an interested group about that. And this is the great things about having a community that is so large, and having a platform like Kubernetes that allows us to do many different things.
And don't be scared.
Don't be scared. Absolutely.
Don't be scared to make mistakes.
Don't be scared to make mistakes, but also don't be afraid to reach out. We are a community that is very open, where people like to interact with each other. So don't be afraid of reaching out to somebody that you look up to. Don't be afraid of being cringy. We are all a little bit cringy on our own. Just get started, do the first step, and after that, the rest will come.
Cool.
Okay, cool. Well, a little bit in an extension of that, William, what do you recommend to someone who wants to be involved with OSS contribution or the CNCF technical advisory group?
Come to me. No, jokes aside.
Why should they come to you? Why should they come to you?
Jokes aside, what I did. There are things in the CNCF called groups called tags, technical advisory groups. They're all interested in one specific area or topic, like observability, sustainability, application delivery, security. There are anything you want. And there are projects within that space. Several Prometheus. The Green Software Foundation is an extension as well. The Open Telemetry. So there are several projects in the OSS, or in the CNC, within the CNCF and outside the CNCF as well, that can get you to see what you can do and what you can contribute in. It can be documentation, it can be code, it can be raising an issue for something that you need, that your company need, that your application need, your platform needs to move forward. And that's already a contribution. Raising an issue is a contribution. Something that I do almost every morning when I'm drinking my coffee on my computer before even reading my emails, I go to clotributor.dev. Is a rating where you can filter and search all the CNCF projects, and you can filter for the type of issue, the type of programming language, but also the difficulty of the issues. All the projects of CNCF are tagged with the type of issue that they have. And it could be a good first issue. Those good first issues are easy cherry picks that you can grab to say, okay, I can look at this issue, I can see what's the matter with this issue. It can be documentation issue, it can be code issue. You can work on it, and then you can submit your PR, and that's how it starts. Absolutely, that's simply how it starts.
Okay.
And from there, I guarantee you're going to be driven to do more and more and more.
So you do that first, or do you first roast your own coffee beans?
No, I do my coffee beans first.
In a pan, eh? Or no?
In a pen.
Yes, in a pen.
Ethiopian green
out.
coffee beans.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. I remembered. Yeah. And Marcel, do you spend a lot of personal time instead of working out?
Yes. I've spent a lot of personal time. I work 40 hours with my company. 36 I do with the customer, and 4 hours time from the company. But it's not enough because it's a lot of arranging everything, and it takes a lot of time. So in the evening also we do things we must do for this event.
Yeah. So it's another hobby.
Yes. My wife don't like it.
But you can't. Are there any tips you can give to people that they can convince their bosses to give them more time to do this kind of things?
I must not do that.
Maybe isn't ask a question for the whole panel.
My company gives the time, so I don't need that. But you learn a lot about the community. You learn about such a big event to organize, and you meet a lot of nice people like those two or other people, and you learn, and that's very important.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. William?
I may add, there are companies which have a founded open source mentality. Like many startups, they are absolutely built of open source. Those companies, it's easy to work through your need that the company need for time to dedicate to this to community work. There are other companies that are not founded on open source. They're finding their way through open source, and I think one of the first things that you should do, you should try your way to become an advocate of open source within the company, and then show and bring the use case of why it's a good thing if the company provides that space, because it motivates, it leaves the freedom. And for whoever was at the keynote, Sarah told us that that's one of the creative triggers that you can give to your employees. So.
Okay, nice answer. Thanks.
Awesome.
Huh?
Yeah.
Just wanted to add one small thing, that at the end of the day, it's also up to you to tune the knob in one direction or the other. When you do community work, especially, it's all volunteer-based. Nobody's ever going to come to you and say, "Hey, I don't think you've put enough work this week," or whatever. So don't be afraid of thinking, "Okay, I would like to really contribute to this project, but I cannot put I don't know, I cannot put 2 hours every day to work on it. Nobody's ever going to, come to you and tell you that you're not working enough. It's all about being transparent with other people of the project and say, hey, folks, this month or for the next 6 months, I can dedicate this amount. For the next 6 months, I can dedicate a bit more. For the next 6, a little bit less. Everybody has a family. We all have a job, friends, and we have a life. Nobody wants to see you burned out. That's priority number 1. And so it's also up to you to decide like how much you want to be involved. I suggest always starting with like something small, and then if you feel like, again, it's not needed, you can always increase a little bit.
And how do you that? You're your own boss?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a freelance, so like my personal and working time sort of like mixed together a lot.
But you still need to earn money.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. In my case, it goes a little bit in waves, I would say. Sometimes I do like, an event like this. I mean, I didn't organize this event in particular, but like whenever I have to organize an event or I want to organize an initiative, maybe I have like a month where I work more than usual, but then maybe the month after that I try to like, take it a little bit slow. Let's put it this way. I find an equilibrium this way.
Okay. I've got a question for William. William Rizzo. You're a Kubernetes Jedi. What did you learn from the KCD meetups?
Careful, you must. What did I learn from the Kubernetes meetups?
Yeah, what's your biggest thing that you learned?
It's a very difficult question for me.
Why is it difficult then?
Why is it difficult? There are meetups in which I learn a lot of. I learn certain technical things. Mm-hmm. There are other meetups where I learn more about how to deal with people and how to deal with my emotions about people.
And questions.
There are other meetups where I meet people like you. I don't particularly go to meetups or organize meetups for learning something, but it is what, as I said before, it's more I want to be surrounded by people that can challenge me to think differently about problems, or that I can challenge to do the same. So,
okay.
So maybe those are my learnings, those interactions with people.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Andrea, you're a Kubernetes instructor. You've got a lot of Kubernetes Padawans. Mm-hmm. What is the best? I think a lot of people know Kubernetes already here, but what is the best place to start with Kubernetes?
I will say that against my own interest, but like every free YouTube course that you find online is
a YouTube course.
It's pretty much what you need. The important thing is to find like an instructor, really, like
like you,
like me. No,
do you have your own YouTube videos?
I'm not a YouTube star yet.
No, not yet.
But the important is that you find somebody that is, explaining things in the way is best for you. Kubernetes is a complicated ecosystem. It can get really tricky at times, and it's important that you find a course, like even a free course. There are great free courses that allow you to learn at least the basics of Kubernetes. For free, pretty much, on your own times, on your own, in your own way. Some people like to do YouTube courses. Some people prefer reading books and having more written material. Some people instead are very practical, so they always need to have like exercise after exercise. It's up to you, really. But don't get crazy trying to find the perfect method or like the perfect instructor, whatever.
So you're the perfect instructor.
But otherwise, listen to the podcast.
Listen to the podcast.
It's all about finding something that fits for you. That's the important.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool. I've got a question for. Do you want to say something?
Okay. I went the other way. I learned Kubernetes by downgrading clusters. That's the only way I could learn.
Marcel, we think you're a driving force in the meetups and the community. What sparks your interest in the open source community world?
Open source or?
Yeah, open source.
Open source. Open source is great because you can learn a lot about it. I think that what I want to give away is that knowledge that is important, and I think that we share knowledge, and that's I think that is important that everyone learn new stuff. So,
Okay, awesome.
Okay, cool.
It's open for the
Are there questions from the audience
audience.
to our panel? Come on, don't be shy. Over there.
Is your podcast in Dutch or English?
Our podcast is in Dutch, but we have got English episodes.
So if you want to learn Dutch, it's also a good start.
I don't have a Dutch learning podcast. Somebody else.
Other questions for the panel, maybe.
Yep.
Yeah, hello everyone. For me, it's the first meetup which I'm actually enjoying in the Netherlands. I'm new here, so everything is quite welcoming. So I must say, I'm coming here just for the one question which every friend of mine is asking. So what happens when you move to a new country? Either your husband or your wife. So basically, your partner get a job, and the next struggle after landing or exploring the place after 1 month is to get a job for the partner. So what happened, because Kubernetes DevOps is nowadays get more and more, highlighted. People really want to jump into the DevOps things. It can be Cilium or any service mesh, anyhow. So what happened? People do have the coding skills, but not dedicatedly something specific to DevOps. And when we try to approach the companies to get a job, they were asking at least to have 2 to 3 plus years of experience in the DevOps. You mentioned lots of YouTube videos. I completely agree. Courses are available. But the important thing is there is so much things available that usually people get confused. They move from one YouTube course to another. They move from Udemy to Pluralsight. They move from paid courses to free courses, and people nowadays putting lot of things on the LinkedIn that it gets confused, making people confused, and something it feels like maybe they know a lot of things and we know nothing. And I don't know how much time it will take for me to learn or to move to that skill. So please guide, again, everybody is saying you can start from here, you can start from where, but again the question is how to start. And especially, I'm working as a senior cloud consultant. I'm working on Kubernetes, luckily. But if I talk about my friends who recently shifted here from India or, from other parts of the Europe, for them, they really want to be a part of, I would say, a production-ready environment. But again, as I mentioned, whatever available in the courses is not compatible to clear the interview.
Okay,
so how
let
to
them
move forward?
answer the first part of the question. Yeah?
First of all, like the reason Marcel passed immediately the microphone to me is that I have exactly the situation. Like my wife has the kind of job that needs her to be in certain places, and me being the one with the flexible job, I'm just following her around. But your point is very valid. Is very valid. I understand it. The first thing that I would recommend is like, you need to keep your expectation reasonable, right? So if you have like followed a course on YouTube, of course you will not be able to perform it and go into a super complex production environment from day one that needs like a 5.9 availability, right? That's common sense, right? Another thing that I forgot to mention before, but I think it's actually quite useful, is the mentoring program of the CNCF. The CNCF is a mentoring program where people that are like other volunteers like us, other members of the community, take the time to meet with like younger graduates, people that have graduated, like recently graduated or about to graduate, to let them, learn more about Kubernetes, about the CNCF technologies, and also try to, get them their first step into the workforce, pretty much. I know that it can be tricky, especially when you're moving across countries, when you're moving across continents, and unfortunately, I don't have like a silver bulletproof for you. The mentoring program of the CNCF is a great resource, and this is what I would recommend.
William can add to that.
Go to William.
When you have when When I was looking for a job spec for a Kubernetes role, the related role, it was 2019. I hope you guys know when Kubernetes was, let's call it released, was 2017. In the job spec, there was written, we are looking for someone with Kubernetes experience at least 12 years. That was 2 years after release, so it's okay. Your question is very pertinent. It's very complex to answer. What I would say is production, when we talk about production as systems, is complex. Anybody that is going to say that production is not complex it's delusional or is lying. I can tell you what I did. I'm not cloud native born. I'm not cloud born. I actually have touched mainframes and I worked on mainframes. I translate what I call production into how I would build it on cloud, on how I would build it on Kubernetes. And then you can call it DevOps, you can call it SRE, you can call it platform engineering, whatever you like to call it. But I need to have resiliency, I need to have observability, I need to have ease of deployment, and all of these things. How do I do it on Kubernetes? What products I'm going to use, what project I'm going to use. This is what I try to understand. Once I understand what product I'm going to use, I'm going to downgrade all of them and learn them and do my best to learn. They are looking for experience, it's true. And what they're looking on job descriptions is often unicorns.
Yes.
And companies have to stop looking for unicorns. And we do see in the market also a shift into this. They're stopping for looking for the unicorns that knows everything about continuous delivery, everything about Kubernetes, everything about service mesh, everything. It's not doable and it's not realistic. So they're looking for more specialists. So I would say specialize in subjects that you feel comfortable with, and keep going to specializing in more subjects that you feel comfortable
Should the years of experience scare you? Well, I mean, you see a job vacancy, you see 5 years of experience, but you also see, like, with junior software developers, they want to get started, and you always see, like, we want you to have 6-year experience in this job. But can you say, I will just apply anyway, because I know what I can do. I know my skill set, and I can bring something to the company, and those years
So be confident.
don't count.
So when you go to a negotiation, a commercial negotiation, you put a price in your mind that you're not going to go down from, right?
Yes.
Then do the same and inverse when you're looking at years. When they're putting the years that are required for that role, what they are really doing is they're guessing. Because who says that his 5 years of experience on that subject matter, it's more, it has more meat on the fire than my 5 years.
Exactly.
I might be still not understanding fully what I'm doing, and in 5 years, he's a Jedi. So who says that those 5 years are realistic or 12 years are realistic?
Exactly.
We think so. We've got one last question. We always close with one last question.
Oh boy.
William knows it already, but it's a question for all the panel. What do you think the future of community days is?
So normally we ask what is the future of Kubernetes, but we extended the question with the community days.
I think it is great because next year we do again a KCD. Maybe in
Yes, nice to know. Spoiler alert.
maybe some volunteers leave, but
I was threatened to leave 5 times.
yeah. But we are going to arrange a new event next year, and maybe like this year we also do 2 times.
Okay.
Awesome.
Great.
And somebody else has anything to add?
I think the future of community days, community, whatever you're going to call it, it's simply bright always. Always.
Okay.
Awesome.
Nice closing. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.